All right, so let's go through a few of these. So we go down for A here. Our discriminant, if you put in b squared minus 4ac, this is what you get. It is a positive number, so it's two real roots, right? This crosses the x-axis twice. Okay, now we got to find the zeros of the function, or the roots, or the solutions. All right, so then we just set y equal to 0 on this side, and then factored it. So when you factor that, you get x plus 5, x minus 1, and x is equal to negative 5, x is equal to negative 1. That's where it crosses, right? X-intercept, all we have to do is put 0 in place of x. So instead of an x being here and there, we're going to have a 0 there and there. That's negative 5. You can also just really see from the equation that it's always going to be that last number on there for the y-intercept. Okay, D, find the coordinates of the vertex. So if we're going to do that, we need to put it into vertex form. So the way we do that is kind of like what we've done up here, right? Yeah, just completing the square like we've done before. So that ends up being plus 2, and we had to, since we added 4 to make that a perfect square, we had to subtract 4, which gave us negative 5 minus 4 was negative 9. Okay, so then our vertex, we can tell looking at this now, is negative 2, right? It's always the opposite of what that sign is. And then the y is the same as that one, so negative 2, negative 9. Now the range here, I always just kind of sketch it out. Then we know the vertex is there. It can be everything above negative 9, right? That's the y value we're looking at here. So y is greater than or equal to negative 9. And then this part we haven't talked much about, but you could also say it's less than or equal to infinity, just saying that it's everything above, right? Infinity goes on forever, so it's less than that. But the other way you can write it is like this, right? Like kind of what we've done. Y is greater than or equal to negative 9 because it's above negative 9. Okay. Our symmetry, you can tell just again from looking right at the vertex, our equation of symmetry is always just going to be the x value of that vertex. So I'll let you guys look through this one. We found, though, that for B, you can't really factor that one very nicely, right? So or at all. So you need to use the quadratic formula to do that one. So just you kind of look through here to see what we did. Remember that at this part, or at this point, we just divided everything by 2, right, to get down to this point. Okay, other things were really similar to the one above. Range, yada, yada, yada. So look through that. Never got a chance to do this one, but hopefully you guys, it was good practice for it anyway. Let's move on, though. All right. So this one. So I went through on the video about that one, right? So I'm not going to go through that. So yeah, I'll let you guys look through number 1 and 2 on your own. You can kind of see what we've done here. The quadratic formula and stuff for both. So I'll let you do that, but let's go through 3. I'll give you a hand with that one. So it says the function has zeros at that point and that point. The function also passes through that point. Write the equation in the form, so now in this kind of a form, right? So this one's going to be similar to the ones above, right? Because when we're looking for an x-intercept, it was always, y is equal to, there's some number up front, let's say like 4 or something, and then like x minus 2 and x plus 2, let's say I had something like that. And so you can see that the x-intercepts here would be at positive 2 and negative 2 there, right? So those are going to be the things that need to go into our equation. So let's start from this point, I guess. So let's go A. Let's say y is equal to a times x minus r, and then x minus s. These are just values for the x-intercepts, right? The r and the s don't really matter too much. So what do we know? Well, we can figure out what r and s are from this, right? From these numbers. These are where they cross the x-intercept. So what we're going to do is put in those numbers in place of R and S. So let's do that now. A, and then it's going to be X. And now minus R is the equation. So right now, if we're looking at this one, we'd have minus 1. So that's plus 1, right? That's the same as plus 1. So really, you're making the signs just kind of opposite of the way they are up here. So this would be X plus 1. And then this would be X minus 3. Right? Because it's like a plus 3 right now. So it's just X minus plus 3. So X minus 3. Okay, so we've got those numbers in there so far. Now, they also tell us that this is the whole point here. That, well, yeah, whole point. It passes through 0.5, negative 6. So this is my X value. That's my Y value. Let's put those into our equation. So instead of writing Y, I'm going to write negative 6. A is the one we don't know, right? That's the one we got to solve for. X is 5. So 5 plus 1. And then 5 plus or minus 3. Okay, now I've seen people do weird things when they try to simplify this now, where they like try to go like I don't know, 5 times 25 and 5 times negative 3 and negative, like they try to foil that or something. We don't need to do that because there's no X values in there. Just add these things and subtract these things and then multiply them. Don't overthink that. So what we've got is negative 6 is equal to A. I'm just going to write this now as 6. 5 plus 1 is 6. And then 5 minus 3 is 2. So this is negative 6 is equal to, I'm going to put the numbers out front. This is 12A. Now what we're going to do is divide both sides by 12. So we've got 1/2. So A is equal to 1/2. All right, so we got that figured out. So the way we can write our formula, we go back up to this point, leave those numbers, like these numbers in there, and then just put 1/2 in place of A. So in the end, we'd write this as Y is equal to 1/2 X plus 1 times X minus 3. So there, we've got that in factored forms. That's part A. Now write the equation in the format like standard form. Now all we got to do is expand this. So let's take this formula and just expand it out. And we'll do that down here. So we'll say, Y is equal to, let's write it again, 1/2 X plus 1 X minus 3. Okay, now we could FOIL these things first and then put the 1/2 in there, or we could do the 1/2 first. I'm going to do the 1/2 after, just because I've done it the other way a bunch of other times, just to show you can. So I'm just going to go Y is equal to, I'll keep 1/2 out here. Now I'm going to go X times X, that times that, that times that, that times that. And we end up with X squared minus 3X plus 1X minus 3. I'm going to simplify this first before I move on though. So Y is equal to 1/2 times X squared minus, now this would be minus 2X and then minus 3. Okay, so now the last thing we got to do, just distribute this 1/2 to all these terms. So we've got Y is equal to X squared over 2, same thing as 1/2 times X, right? Minus, this would just be 1/2 times 2. That's the same as 1/2 times 2 over 1, right? Same type of thing. So the 2's cancel. This is just 1. So all I have left is just X. And then finally, minus 3 over 2. And that's it. Okay, next one. Into vertex form. All right, so we need to complete the square. So I'm going to write this as Y is equal to, and we're going to write it X squared over 2 minus X. We're going to leave space, and we're going to have negative 3 over 2 outside over here. Okay, now I don't like this divided by 2 thing though. We gotta get that out of there. So what we're going to do is write this as 1/2 factored out of this. And here's the part that might be kind of tricky. Is we're going to factor out a 1/2, so that makes sense on this one pretty well. So factor that out, and we've got now just x squared because we took that half out. Now this one, what we're going to have, well, this is now going to be 2. And that might not make a lot of sense to you right now, but if you think about it, we had like 1 sitting here, right? So there was a 1. And we divided out a half. So we went 1 divided by a half. That's what we do when we factor things out, right? So if you go 1 divided by a half, 1 divided by 1/2, that's the same as multiplying by 2. Going 1 divided by 1/2, that's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So that's the same as going 1 times 2 over 1, right? Multiplying by flipping these two upside down. That's the same thing. Or you could think about it as 1 divided by 0.5. If you put that in your calculator, you get 2. So either one, right? But in the end here, when we go that -1 divided by 0.5 or 1/2, we now have 2x. Okay, now we're going to do our normal thing. So we'll go y is equal to 1/2. This is going to be written as x minus 1 squared. I got to figure out what goes in here. Well, that would be -1 squared. That's +1. Now, what am I going to add or subtract on this side? Remember, it's got to be this times this, right? Is the thing that we've just introduced. So really here, we've introduced +1/2, right? That's what we've got going on. Because 1/2 times 1 is +1. So we can't just go around adding 1/2, so we also have to subtract a half. So then what we're left with here is this, and then minus 4 over 2, right? -3 over 2 minus 1 over 2, that's 4 over 2. So that's the same thing as just -2. So hopefully that went okay. I know that added a new level of difficulty with the having the fraction out front, but not too bad. The new thing you got to kind of remember when you factor out a fraction like that, like something in the bottom, it's it's like dividing by that fraction. So we went 1 divided by 1/2, right, that I took out, which was 2. So that's kind of the new thing that we kind of covered there. Everything else is kind of the same in the end. All right, so I'm going to end that one there. And yeah, see you guys in the next lesson. Oh, actually, no, I won't. What's the range of the function? Okay, I forgot that. All right, so now that we know the vertex, right? This is my x, this is my y. So it opens up. So if we kind of sketch this out a bit, my vertex is going to be at +1, -2. So +1, -2, somewhere down there, right? And it opens up. So if you think about that point right there, that's 1, -2. Y is going to be everything above that point, that -2. So y has to be greater than or equal to -2. Okay, now I'm done.